Sunday. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on this beautiful sunny long weekend. We hope you're all keeping safe and healthy. My name is Seema Rizvi. I'm a board member at IDRF, and I'm also a member of the Young Professional Council at IDRF, who is hosting this event today. And we are so excited for this seminar, as it's also kicking off the beginning of a new IDRF YPC virtual wellness series that we will be doing. And we have so many great speakers lined up for you all throughout the year. So stay tuned for that. You can get updates on that at on Instagram and on our page at IDRF Canada, and or you can also sign up to get our newsletter that gives updates on events and other happenings at IDRF. So for those of you that are new to IDRF, I just wanted to take a brief moment to give you a quick synopsis of who IDRF is, what we do. So IDRF is a not-for-profit organization that's been registered and established in 1984. We do partnerships across the world and locally to facilitate relief and development projects that target the most vulnerable populations. We've been working in over almost 45 countries across South and Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa, Eastern Europe, and throughout the Americas. On that note, I wanted to introduce Farouk, our program manager, who is going to be touching on telling us a little bit about a project that has to do with the very topic that we're discussing today about food and nutrition.
Hey, all, thank you so much, Seema, for the introduction. Hope you can hear me okay. So yes, I am a program manager here at IDRF. I just wanted to do a quick overall sort of summary on what we're doing in Yemen. So as of today, Yemen is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world. There's an estimate of 80% of the population needing some form of humanitarian assistance. That translates to 24 million people. 3.6 million people are internally displaced from the conflict. And the highest level of vulnerability for those people are those who are forced into settlement camps with very little services and very little established infrastructure. So we are responding there to provide food packages. We are providing flour, rice, sugar, milk powder, biscuits, canned beans, oil, and other dried goods to provide a minimum of 2,000 calories per individual for 1,400 IDP households, or 8,460 individuals. In total, the impact of this will provide the primarily female and child-headed households, larger family units, and low-income families, those who are more vulnerable to the effects of these crises, with essential food, keeping them healthy and safe in a crisis that's been called as by UNOCHA one of the worst in history. So we really appreciate you coming out here and supporting this cause. And if anything else, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you so much, Farouk. So again, if anybody would like to donate to our Yemen Food Relief or Water Project, you can go to our website at idrf.ca, or you can also click on the links that have been posted in the chat, and that will take you directly to the projects. If you have any further questions, you can also call the office directly and speak to Farouk. He'd be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so now let's jump right into the main purpose of this event. With Ramadan around the corner, we all want to know how to tackle fasting in Ramadan head on. And we have just the right person with a wealth of knowledge to do that for us. Right now, I'd like to introduce Sukaina Bharwani. Many of you may also know her on Instagram as Health and Food Junkie. She is a certified holistic nutritionist, wellness coach, and is currently working towards becoming a certified gut health specialist. Sukaina believes that healing happens from the inside, and with a combination of nutritious foods, physical movement, and the right mindset, we can all achieve our wellness goals. She takes her natural approach to healing and wellness and helps others work towards feeling their best. Sukaina is also a wellness recipe creator and loves spending time in her kitchen working on recipes that are nutritious, taste great, and packed full of intentional ingredients. She has recently released a cookbook full of nutritious meals that can be made in an electric pressure cooker. If you're not following her on Instagram, definitely go check her out as she shares delicious, healthy recipes and nutritional information, including gluten-free and low sugar options as well. So please go check her out, give her a follow, show her some love. And on that note, we want to welcome Sukaina.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for inviting me, IDRF and YPC. I want to talk to you about Ramadan. Ramadan starting, it's around the corner. And this year, like last year, is going to be a little bit different. Depending on where you live, there's no iftars at mosque, there's no group iftars with families or friends, but this gives you an opportunity to have control over what you're going to be eating this Ramadan. And I want to help share some tips today to help you have a healthy Ramadan so you feel your best spiritually, physically, and mentally as you conquer the month. So with that, I'm going to start a slideshow that I've put together just to help us talk more about Ramadan, and you can visualize what I'm explaining. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, a healthy Ramadan. So in Ramadan, a lot of us feel that even though we don't eat all day, we can end our fast or open our fast with anything we want because we need to get those calories in by not eating, or we've emptied everything out so we can fill it in with what we want. But that's not the case, because if we go ahead and eat greasy, fatty, processed foods after we've opened our fast and we haven't eaten all day, that'll leave you feeling more tired and more sluggish after you eat and throughout the whole next day, because your body has to work that much harder to digest it. What our bodies need this month are the nutrients and fiber that's provided by fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And this aids in our digestion, and it'll help us keep us healthy and alert throughout the whole day. This is our goal. We want to be healthy. We want to be alert. We want to get through our day without the headaches, without feeling sluggish, without feeling tired. And the best way to do that is to feed ourselves the right food, and the right mindset. All of that works together. It's a whole holistic approach, but we can start and we can control our food first. So it's really easy. A lot of us do a lot of Ramadan prep. We try to get a lot of foods cooked and a lot of foods ready to go. So I'm going to share some tips on how you can start the month. So the first thing to do is, if you want to try and eat better this Ramadan, you clear out all the processed and junk food items out of your kitchen, so they're not there. So when you open your fast and you have that craving, you'll reach for the apple instead of the apple pie, possibly because you have the apple and you don't have the apple pie in the fridge. Another big thing for me is not to go get groceries when I'm hungry. So I try not to go to the grocery store when I'm fasting. I'll go after iftar, because when you're fasting, everything looks so good. You want to eat everything you see. So this helps you avoid putting things in your cart and then having them in the house that you feel that you have to eat later. Plan out your meals. I find that's really helpful, especially, last year and this year when we're having all of our meals at home. Plan them out, sit down with the family, see what everyone might be wanting during the week. So you have minimal trips to the grocery store. You just go once a week, you get what you need, and you work through the week that way. And of course, if cravings come up, that's completely understandable, especially if you have kids in the house, you want to feed them what they feel like eating. You go for a quick shop, that's okay. But for your bulk groceries, try to have it planned out so you don't have to go to the store when you're hungry. Stock up on frozen fruits and vegetables. Fresh varieties are always good, but they sometimes tend to go bad faster than the frozen option. So there's more waste. And sometimes, depending on what fruits and vegetables are in season, the frozen ones have more nutrients. Because of the whole, farm to table time gap that's in there, sometimes vegetables get picked before they're at their prime, just so they make it to your table before going bad. So when they're frozen, they get picked at their prime, they get flash frozen, and you're getting them with all the nutrients already in there. And by having them in the freezer, it's really easy to add them into your smoothies, to add vegetables into all of your meals. Just add a handful into your socks, add a handful into your sauces. It's really easy to do, and it minimizes the prep. You don't have to sit and chop everything up. So it takes care of that little step as well. Another easy thing to do is to pre-cook some chicken and fish and meats and keep them in the freezer so they're easy to grab and go, just reduces your time. I like to do that sometimes with grilled chicken. I have it grilled, I have it in the freezer. And, if we want a pasta or something with a sauce, I prepare the sauce and I add in the frozen meats, and it's just a really quick and easy meal without the extra steps, because we're tired. When we're fasting, we're tired. Sometimes we want something really quick, but still packs a punch. So if you've got the vegetables, you've got the meats ready to go, it's really easy to make a really nutritious meal. Another thing you can do is when you get your meats and chickens is to pre-marinate them. So spend an afternoon in the kitchen, do some different marinades. So when you take your food out of the freezer and it's defrosted, that's one less step you have to do later. Your chicken's marinated, it can just go on the grill. Another really helpful tip that I find is to have some brown rice and quinoa cooked. So those are whole grains, really good to have in your meals. So sometimes it's nice to have, if I have a nice big salad and I feel like I want to add a bit more to it, I'll grab a little baggie of pre-cooked quinoa from the fridge and throw it into my salad. And that just gives it more of a protein boost. It's more nutritious. Or sometimes if the rest of the family doesn't feel like having their brown rice with their socks for dinner, I'll just take out a little bag of brown rice for myself and I'll defrost it. And I still got, a brown rice version of what everyone else is eating. So what I do is I pre-cook them and I put them in these little baggies and I stick them in the freezer. So they're portioned and they're easy to grab and go. Also prep your fresh fruits and vegetables as needed. So later on, I'll be talking about vegetables, but just chop up some vegetables so they're easy to throw into your salads. You get a cucumber, you chop it up on Sunday, and it's good till about Wednesday in the fridge. So when you're making your salad, you grab your leafy greens and everything's already ready and you can throw it in there. Another thing is to prep some smoothie bags. So if you're someone who likes smoothies in Ramadan, you can get your little baggies and you can add in all the fruits and vegetables portioned into what you want in your smoothie. You add in your frozen fruits, your vegetables, you can add in some nuts, you can add in some seeds, and you just seal them up and put them in the freezer. It's nice to have a variety available. So you can have strawberries and bananas in one, you can have peaches and mangoes in the other, bananas and dates in another one. So you can just grab what you feel like that morning at suhoor and have that ready to go and just keep them in the freezer. So all you do is you add your liquid into your blender, you empty the bag into the blender, and it's ready. Okay, so when you're thinking about planning your iftar meals, as I mentioned, you want to plan them in advance, makes it a little bit easier. You need to focus on a few macronutrients. So macronutrients are those nutrients that we need in our meals to help us feel fuller longer. That's what we want. We want to feel good with our digestion and we want to feel fuller for longer through the day. So these are what you need to focus on when you're planning your meals. You want to include something that it's a lean source of protein, be it vegan or a meat source. You want a lean source of protein. You want a carbohydrate, so a good carbohydrate. We'll go into details in a minute. And you want a healthy fat. So those are the macronutrients that you need included in your meals. So when you plan out your meals, you want those three things in there. And you also want lots of fruits and vegetables. So I usually recommend that you want half your plate of vegetables and fruits. So vegetables are always my first go-to because they're lower in sugar. They've got a bit more fiber packed into them. So, and the more colors you have, the more varieties you have, the better. So you're not going to have half your plate of food in Ramadan, but make sure there's a vegetable, something with vegetables available for everyone to enjoy. As I mentioned, these foods will help you feel fuller for longer and give you the energy that you need for the next day. And this is a little hard to do sometimes in suhoor. Again, we wake up, we're tired, kind of grab something quick and go. We don't want to think about it. But if you take that time in the beginning of the week and you plan out what you're going to eat at suhoor time too, there's easy ways to grab a breakfast full of these macronutrients that will help you the next day through. And it starts off with a commitment. You make a commitment to eat better, and you can still eat the foods you love, but just these few simple modifications. So here are some sources of protein that you can add into your meals through the day. So you have, when you're choosing your meats, always try to go for the lean options. So just remove some of the extra fat that you don't want. So lean meats and chicken. You have fish and shrimp. There's eggs. And then you've also got almonds are high in protein. Oats are high in protein, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, skyr yogurt. Broccoli is a really good protein source. Quinoa, lentils, beans. So whether you choose a meat option or a non-meat option, there's lots of protein in these foods and a lot more, but these have high quantities of protein. And then carbohydrates. So carbohydrates is a funny area because people go on low carb diets, but the thing is, we need carbohydrates. We need the carbohydrates to give us energy. That's what our body gets energy from. What you need to focus on is when you're choosing your carbohydrates is to choose good carbohydrates that are beneficial to you and beneficial to your digestion. And that's whole grain sources. So when you're choosing your pastas and you're choosing your rice and you're choosing your pitas and anything that is going to be a carb form, opt for the whole grain versions. So not the whole wheat. And this is where people get confused. So not the whole wheat, but you want whole grain versions. And sometimes things will have more seeds in them. It's like some breads, if you choose them, you get sprouted seeded bread. It's great because the seeds and the grains help give you fiber. And fiber is something you need because it slows the transition time in your stomach while you're digesting the foods, and it helps control your blood sugar levels. So you don't have blood sugar spikes. So the more whole grains that you have in your diet, the better it is in that way. So these are some great sources of whole grains that are high in fiber as well. Sorry, of carbohydrates that are high in fiber as well. So you have sweet potatoes, you have quinoa, brown rice, and then the whole grains. So your breads, your flours, your pastas, try to get all of those whole grains. You have oats and corn, carrots, and peas. So some vegetables are carbohydrates as well. So corn, carrots, and peas are a few examples. Banana, apples, and mangoes as well are carbohydrates. Beans and lentils are also carbohydrates. So they fall into both categories of protein and carbohydrates. And you'll find that when you're planning out your meals, that some foods will fall into both a carbohydrate and protein source, or a protein source and a fat source. They're kind of interconnected. And here we have healthy fat sources. So fat is something, again, like the carbs, it's something that in the health and wellness area, sometimes has been frowned upon for so long. And now with more studies, there's healthy fats that are actually really beneficial to our health. These healthy fats help us from the inside out, plus it gives us the energy we need. With everything though, you need to keep moderation in mind. So as wonderful as these are, you also have to be thoughtful and mindful when you're eating them. And some great things to include that are healthy fat sources are extra virgin olive oil. Now, again, extra olive oil's had a few discrepancies in the past because it has a high smoke point. So olive oil is great to enjoy cold in salad dressings and stuff like that, but you can still use your olive oil with your cooking as long as you keep your temperatures below 350 degrees Fahrenheit, because that's its smoke point. So if you're someone who cooks on high heat, then maybe opt for the coconut oil or the ghee or the avocado oil, stuff like that, that have a higher smoke point. But if you simmer your food or you cook it or bake on lower temperatures, then use the olive oil because it's got so many benefits to it. Some other sources of healthy fat include coconut oil and coconuts, ghee. Avocados are great. They're a great source of fat. Nuts and seeds, cheese, nut butter, fatty fish, eggs. So these are just a few options that you can include into your meals that, again, will help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And when I say include a fat source, so if you're sauteing vegetables, so you have some vegetables that are carbs and you're going to have it with some chicken, you're going to cook the chicken and vegetables and either any of these cooking oils, and you get the fat source right there. It's a tablespoon of oil, you're still getting some fat source in your meal to keep it balanced and to keep you feeling fuller. And these are some other simple modifications that we can do in Ramadan or just every day to help us eat a little more nutrient-dense foods. So instead of frying our foods in Ramadan, it's all about fried foods. Instead of frying your appetizers, try baking them or air frying them. They turn out just as wonderful. So they're still crispy. You can just, brush on a little bit of oil to kind of give it the brown look that you'd like. And they taste great. And when you're opening your fast, try to open your fast with a salad, fresh fruits, or a bowl of soup. These are great ways to get in the vegetables and the colors. All the benefits from the fruits and vegetables lie in the colors that they are. So pile in your vegetables into salad, have a bowl of soup, start with some fresh fruit. And it's a great thing because it starts you start eating on a lighter note. So you're starting to fill up with these lighter foods so you don't feel overly full. And get creative with your salads. If you're going to have a green garden salad every day, you are going to get tired of salads within the first week of Ramadan. But the more creative you are with your salads, the more you mix them up, the more fun it is to have. So go online, Find some fun recipes, find some fun dressings. Also have a collection of nuts and seeds and fruits that go well in your salad. So if you have a garden salad, you can mix it up by adding different nuts, different fruits, different seeds, and different dressings just to mix it up for you. Maybe you do salads a couple of times a week and you do a soup a couple of times a week and you make something like a fruit chat or something like that. Those are great ways to open your fast instead of reaching for the fried foods, because it will help you start your digestion without being gassy. Also try for a few lighter meals through the month. So I know in Ramadan, we get really hungry and we want to have these huge meals and you want, all these different courses, but sometimes just if you mix it up, so maybe you designate one day a week and you're going to have a light meal being some grilled meats, or grilled meats and some vegetables and maybe like a handful of quinoa or some sweet potatoes, just something light that's not heavy with sauces and doesn't leave you feeling overly full. And that just gives your digestion, again, a bit of a break through the month. So it's not constantly digesting these high fatty foods or high foods that are just full of thick sauces. Another thing you can do is, a lot of us want to open our fast with tea, which is fine. I know I get some people, they just feel this connection to tea or something warm to open their fast. Maybe instead of the sugar in the tea, you can try adding some honey. Or what I like to do now is I just open my fast with some warm water and maybe a little bit of lemon and a little bit of honey. So I still have that soothing feeling of something warm going down, but it doesn't have all the extras in it, because we don't want the extra caffeine really, especially that late at night when we're opening our fast with the extra cream and the extra sugar. It just kind of starts you off feeling heavy. Again, instead of white flour pasta breads and wraps, opt for the whole grain version. So again, not the whole wheat, the whole grain. You want to focus on grains more because they've got a higher fiber content. Instead of adding processed sugars to your desserts, Ramadan's a great time to do desserts. My kids, speaking from my family, they plan out their desserts as opposed to the meal. Ramadan's all about desserts. So what we try to do is not add as many processed sugars to our desserts. We'll use things like pure maple syrup or honey. You've got coconut sugar, there's a date sugar, the date syrups, all those things work great as sugar substitutes in your baking. So give those a try. You can, drizzle on some, if you're gonna have ice cream, a lot of us crave it, rather than a chocolate sauce or caramel sauce, drizzle on some maple syrup or drizzle on some date syrup. You're still getting the sweetness from it, but you're also getting some extra benefits, and it's not processed. So it won't cause any extra inflammation in the body. And instead of eating your whole meal right away, go in little portions. So as I said, open your fast, you have your date, you can go and pray, you come back, you can have something light, you can have your salad, you can have your soup or your fruits. Start with that, take a little break, because if we eat we eat right away, our mind, we're hungry, our mind is just saying, get everything we want. It takes a while for the stomach to tell the mind, hey, I've had enough, I'm full. But if we take our time, it gives it enough time to talk, the mind and stomach to talk, and you're full. So you're not overeating. You've reached that capacity and you're done. Because quite often we leave the table and we're stuffed, and that's because we were done before our mind processed we were done. So we didn't stop eating. So take your time and take little breaks if you can through it. And meal prep foods for suhoor. Like I mentioned earlier, that's a tough time for us to eat sometimes, but if you take the time to make your stuff ahead of time, and I'll share more tips about that in a minute, it makes that easier. Here we go. So some easy suhoor meals to prep. So as I said, a lot of times we wake up in the morning. I know for me, when we were growing up, my parents woke us up every morning. So many times I didn't want to wake up, but they woke us up and they made us eat. And then after I got married, I didn't have to wake up because I had no one forcing me to get up. So I would sleep through it. And until I had kids, I kind of either grabbed something really quick or I slept through it. But once my kids started fasting, I had to get up and I wanted to feed them. And I started eating at that time as well. And I noticed a huge difference with my fasts. It does make a difference. It's a time for you to fuel your body with good nutrients and good foods to get you ready to take on the next day. And I know sleep is such a precious commodity to us in Ramadan because we're so lacking in it and we just want to sleep. We want the extra 10 minutes, we'll take the extra half hour. But if you have things ready, it's really easy to get up, eat something, feed the family, and you can go. So some easy, I kind of deleted it, sorry. Some easy suhoor meals that you can prep are oats Oats are great because they're high in fiber, and they also, they take longer to transition through your body, so they keep you feeling fuller for longer. And there's a few great ways to have oats. And sorry, I think I deleted off my slide, but overnight oats are something you can prepare the night before, and it's cold, it goes in the fridge, and you take it out and you enjoy it. You just add in whatever toppings you want, if you want any toppings in it, and you can enjoy it. And it's full of everything. So you get your oats in there for fiber, you're adding your milk sources, whatever milk source you want, regular milk or a nut milk, like a nut alternative milk. In my recipes, I like to add a little bit of Greek yogurt in it because it's giving me a little bit of a protein boost as well. And you top it up with your fruits and your nuts, and you're getting the fats in it. It's one full meal in a little cup, as you can see the picture. And they're great to prep. And I usually make a batch and I leave it in the fridge for about 3 days. And I just top it with different toppings to kind of keep it more mixed up. I also do the same thing with warm oats. So if cold oats aren't your thing, you can have warm oats. You can make a batch of warm oats that you can then take out in the morning, warm it up, and add your toppings to. You can also add oats into your smoothies. There's a banana pancake, like an oat banana pancake recipe that I have. And I like to make the batter of that in the evenings. I blend it all up. And in the morning, when we wake up for suhoor, we just turn on the skillet and we add the pancake mix. Its batter's already ready. So it's like 5 minutes and we're done. And again, another filling breakfast that you can top however you want to keep you feeling fuller the next day. Then eggs. Eggs are an amazing thing to have at suhoor time because they're packed full of protein and they are so versatile. So you can have some boiled eggs if you like boiled eggs, prep some in advance. So in the morning, you can add them to your toast. You can have them as it is. You can enjoy them however you like boiled eggs. Another thing that I love to do is making egg muffins or egg frittatas, and you just add in a bunch of vegetables into those, and you can prep it the night before, or you can prep it even the day or two before. They stay in the fridge, really great. You pile in your vegetables, you add in some cheese, you got your eggs, and it's a really easy meal. You wake up, you defrost it or you heat it up and you have it, and it's quick and easy, full of nutrients, and you're ready for the next day. You can also fry your eggs, you can scramble your eggs, you can have omelets. Another thing I like to do is I saute vegetables ahead of time because you want to add vegetables, as many as you can, into suhoor as well. So what I like to do is I like to take some time out the evening or on Sunday, and I chop up some of my favorite vegetables. I like the hearty blend of red peppers, red onions, mushrooms, and spinach. I just saute them up in some ghee, add some salt and pepper, and I keep them in the fridge. So for suhoor, when I wake up, I heat up some of the vegetables in a skillet. I crack eggs and scramble them. That's like a 1 minute thing. I toss it in the skillet with the vegetables, and you either scramble them up or you make it into an omelet, or you can add them into a wrap, or you can have it on toast. So again, you're getting these vegetables and you're either having it with eggs, or as I said, you're having like a wrap with vegetables, or you just have the vegetables on some toast. It's a good way to get vegetables quick and easy because most of the prep is done. They've been chopped and they've been pre-cooked, so they're really easy to heat up. Then you have toast. So you're going to focus on whole grain toasts because those are higher in fiber. Their transition time to digest is longer, and it helps control your blood sugar levels. So the whole grain toast, and you can top that with avocados. And if you just smash some avocados on top, I like to sprinkle some chili flakes or some balsamic glaze. It's a great way to have avocado toast. I top my toast with boiled egg slices sometimes. Nut butters or fried egg. One of my favorite ways to have toast is I like to put a nut butter on it, and I like to slice up some bananas, and I like to sprinkle some cinnamon and some hemp hearts, and it's so sweet and so satisfying, and it's full of everything you need. And on the days when I have something sweet, then you can also have smoothies. You have your smoothie bags ready to go. You can either blend them, take the smoothie bags out and blend them at that time, so they're blended fresh. But I know sometimes you might have little ones sleeping or other family members sleeping. The blender can be loud.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can blend it ahead of time and just keep it in the freezer, and then just give it a good shake. Keep it in a jar, give it a good shake, and it's still ready to go. It's still really cool because it's still in the fridge. Another thing are yogurt parfaits. Again, if you use a Greek yogurt or a skyr yogurt, they're high in protein. So you've got your yogurt, which is a protein source. You can add in some granola, which is oats, so it's the carbs, and you just top it out with your favorite fruits and add in some nuts. So you've got a fat source. So you've got nuts, fruits, yogurt parfait. Again, these can be made the night before in the fridge. So all you have to do is unwrap it, grab a spoon, and eat it. quick and easy, nutritious, filling, and it won't take up too much time. So you've still got the time to go, to go pray and go back to sleep. You're not feeling, and you're not overfull, so you can sleep. And these will give you energy for the next day. I always like to try to include some vegetables. So if I'm having things like the yogurt parfait, or if I'm having pancakes or something like that, I'd like to have like a glass of green juice, or even the overnight oats. I use like a green juice powder. So this way I'm still getting my greens in with the foods, and I don't feel like I've missed out on that area. So those are really easy things to prep for suhoor, because you need to eat this meal. It's really important for us to get the food in, get the nutrients in when we can. Okay, stay hydrated. So important. This time between when we open our fast to when we close our fast is very limited. It's getting a little bit longer now, but it's still very limited. And we need to be hydrated. That's the one thing I miss the most. And I know a lot of people find it very hard to get enough water in their system to be hydrated, because the water in our system is just so important for everything. It helps lubricate our joints and our muscles. It gives them like an insulation, let's say. It helps their skin health. It helps with our digestion. It's just so important for us to have, and it gives us energy. Water is a great source of energy. So you need to make sure you stay hydrated. And a few ways I try to do that is I like to keep a water bottle. So I have a water bottle that I keep every day, and in Ramadan as well. So what I do is I have a water bottle that I know is 1 liter, and my goal is to have 2 liters from when I open my fast to when I close my fast. So I fill it up right when I'm opening my fast, and I know this water bottle is mine. No one's allowed to drink out of it, because I can see the progress I've made on that bottle. And by seeing it, you can say, okay, I've only had half the bottle. I need to have more. It's a great reminder, just seeing your bottle and seeing your levels going down. And then you just refill it as you need it. And water, sometimes you get tired of just drinking water. So another fun thing I like to do is I like to add fresh fruits or herbs into my water bottle the night before, and I put in the fridge. So then the flavors get infused into the water. It's just a nice way to drink your water. Some of my favorites are, I like blueberries and basil. That's a great combination. I like to add citrus and strawberries. Those are great as well. So you're getting the benefits from the fruits and herbs that you're adding, and they're being infused into your water, and you're getting these great flavors. You also want to limit your caffeine intake. So you're trying so hard to make sure you're getting enough water into your system. But they say with any cup of coffee or tea, they're diuretics. So they're going to flush water out of your system. So as you're trying to drink all this water, you have a cup of coffee. They say in order to maintain your hydration levels, for every cup of coffee or tea you have, you need to counteract that with 2 cups of water. So if you limit the caffeine, you don't have to add in any extra water, and you're not losing any extra water as well. You also want to limit soda pops. So I know a lot of people in Ramadan crave pop because it's just nice and soothing. But the problem with that is it's so high in sugars, corn syrup, and they've got caffeine in them as well, a lot of them. So you want to avoid that, because the carbonation can cause gas. And that's something you have to be careful in Ramadan, because you haven't eaten all day, and then you drink all this carbonated stuff and it's just bubbling away. So it can cause you gas and make you uncomfortable as well. But if you do feel like you want that carbonation, sometimes it's just you're so thirsty, you want to soothe that thirst, opt for like a sparkling water, and you can add in some fresh fruit into there. You can either mull the fruits up, so it's almost like a fresh fruit soda, and you just get the benefits from that. Or they have some nice flavored sparkling waters right now that got nothing extra added to them, so no added sugars and stuff like that. Those taste great too, and those work as well. That keeps you away from the extra caffeine and the extra sugars. Also, you can get a lot of water from the foods that we eat. There's a lot of fruits and vegetables that are high concentration of water. I'll share a list of them on the next slide. So try to incorporate more of those into your meals. So as I said, you want to open your fast with a salad or a soup. Those are great ways to get in vegetables, get in some extra hydration, and that you don't need to, not including the 2 liters of water you're drinking, you're getting this extra fluid into your system as well. And you can also have the fruit chats, the fruit desserts, smoothies. Again, all of those are great ways to hydrate yourself. And another thing to remember is you need to limit high intensity workouts in Ramadan, because you tend to sweat. So you're losing your electrolytes, you're losing fluids. It'll make you tired and it'll make you thirsty, because you're losing all of that through your sweat. So these are just some this is like the top 90% percentile here. Fruits and vegetables that you can add into your days to help you stay more hydrated. So you've got the cucumbers, iceberg lettuce. That's the one that comes in the bowl. That, funny enough, is the least nutritious of the lettuces because it's so high in water. So you're getting more water than anything else in that lettuce family. But in Ramadan, that's what we want. We want the hydration as well. So iceberg lettuce is really high. Got celery, radishes, tomatoes, green peppers, all of this stuff you can add in. And all of them are really beneficial to our health. So here's like a little list. You can just take a peek. You can add them into your salads. You can add them into your soups. You can nibble on them as you want. As I mentioned before, broccoli is great because it's high in hydration. It's also very high in protein. Digestion. One question I get a lot of in Ramadan is digestion. It's because we haven't eaten all day and we're eating all these foods and our body has to start figuring out how to break it down. Like, how do we digest it? And everything has to start working again. So you need to focus, and we don't often think about our digestion. And so these are some easy tips that you can remember in Ramadan to help your digestion, because you don't want to feel sluggish all day. You don't want your bowels to be backed up. You don't want to have stomach aches. Like, it's a big thing in Ramadan. So for people who suffer from digestive problems, sometimes they get put on medication for Ramadan, but there's simple things that you can do to help your digestion. So again, stay hydrated with water, fruits, and vegetables, because those just help flush through your system, right? They'll just keep the digestion flowing and it'll help flush through, kind of lubricate everything as it makes its way through. Eat foods that are high in fiber. So fiber-rich foods, those are the whole grains, those are the oats. These fibers, again, these fibers will help your digestion flow. So it gives it the bulk it needs to get moving. And then you have to add the water just to help everything go through. Another thing is when we eat in Ramadan, because we're so hungry, we just tend to eat, right? So now if we're more mindful in taking our time to eat our meals so we don't get over full, we also all have to be mindful of the fact that if we chew our foods thoroughly, we're chewing them down to like an applesauce consistency, it's easier for it to flow through the digestive system. So it doesn't have to work extra hard to break it down. It's not causing any blockages because it's so broken down in your mouth as it starts to flow down. So your mind, and that again works in slowing down your eating. So you're not eating so fast because you're taking the time to chew through your food. So chew your food, and start your food start eating with a deep breath. So, we often tell everyone, open your fast, or just when you start to eat, say Bismillah. And that works in a couple of ways. One, it just makes you connect with Allah before you eat. It helps you take a deep breath. So you take a deep breath and you're starting the digestive system. That's what it needs to kind of jumpstart a deep breath to say, okay, here we go. You're mindful and connecting to Allah, saying Bismillah, taking this deep breath, then helps you think about being more mindful in your eating. So then you start thinking about chewing your foods more, not overeating, taking it easy. So it's just a great way to connect all the way around. Also, after you eat, if you find you're someone who eats your food and you tend to feel uncomfortable after, there's a lot of digestive blend teas available. So rather than finishing your meal with a tea that's got cream and sugar in it, opt for these digestive teas that help with your digestion to kind of help calm any issues that you might have. So some great ones are ginger, there's fennel, peppermint. These are great digestive teas. And there are also some out there that are digestive blend teas. There's a company called Traditional Medicines that makes some great blends to help with digestion, and have some of these after, because it just helps break down the food. It helps ease your stomach. It helps coat everything, and it just helps everything flow better. And there's also digestive seeds. We know that we've all grown up having like the seed mix after dinner, right? So they've got all these seeds in there, and they're actually really, really beneficial to our health. Growing up, I always thought, why would you eat that after dinner? It just smells and it's just going to ruin how you feel. But they're so beneficial to helping our body digest the foods, help them just so that you don't end up with things like acid reflux or indigestion or gas. These seeds help. So there's fennel, there's caraway seeds. There's a lot of seeds out there that help, but these are two that I really like in my blends. And also pay attention to foods. So as I've been mentioning, broccoli is a great food to eat because it's got the protein and it's high in water content, but broccoli doesn't agree with everybody. So there's a family of fruits, the cruciferous family of fruits, that vegetables that are broccoli, cauliflower, bean sprouts, Brussels sprouts, bok choy. Those vegetables sometimes can cause gas in people, right? And just stomach upset, gas, you're just not comfortable. So pay attention to the foods, but it doesn't affect everyone. So pay attention to those foods. If you eat those foods, which are so super nutritious, but kind of leave you feeling uncomfortable, keep track of those. And if you take the digestive teas or the digestive seeds and you find you still don't feel good, then try to avoid those foods, because you don't want to spend the evening not feeling good, and you don't want to spend the next day with some stomach aches and stuff like that. So pay attention to what you're eating and how you feel after, and make those modifications as you need, because I might be great with broccoli, but Seema might have an issue with it. So she needs to keep it out of her diet. So everyone's different. So I can't come and say this is going to cause you issues because you may be absolutely fine with it. That's where you come in. You need to keep track of foods and see how they affect you and eat those in moderation. Supplements. That's another big issue in Ramadan. When do we have our supplements? So I'm a big promoter of getting as much as you can from nature. So eat your fruits and vegetables, get your nutrients as much as you can from there, get outside and walk, get your vitamin D from nature. But in Ramadan, we know things are a little different. We don't have that much time to eat enough food sometimes to meet our nutrient needs. So that's when you need to sometimes supplement. Now with supplements, when do you take your supplements? Do you take them after you open your iftar? Because you have to take supplements with food and we can't take them while we're fasting. So do you take your supplements with iftar or do you take them at suhoor? So this is a big thing, because some supplements are great because they can help you relax and they can help you sleep, but then some supplements are energy boosting. So vitamin D can boost your energy because they say it can affect, no, sorry, it doesn't boost your energy, but it can affect your melatonin production. So it can affect your sleep at night. So vitamin D is probably something you want to take at suhoor time. But if you take a vitamin B supplement, vitamin B supplements tend to energize you. They're great to get you over the afternoon slump sometimes. They're good energizing vitamin. So you don't want to take those at night because you want to sleep. So again, another one to take at suhoor. So these are a few, majority of them I would say when you open your fast, right before you close your fast, you've had your suhoor breakfast, have your vitamins then, because the sleep between when you close your fast and when you need to wake up again, like after you pray and you need to wake up again in the morning, isn't that long. So that's not your main sleep. Your main sleep is when you go to bed at night after iftar and after praying till suhoor time. That's your most important time to get your most important sleep. So you don't want that disrupted. So I would take the majority of your vitamins at suhoor time, but magnesium is one. It's one of the ones I recommend. And that's one I would suggest taking at night, because magnesium is great at helping you relax. So it relaxes your mind, it relaxes your body, it relaxes your muscles. It's a great one to help you get to sleep and have a good night's sleep. So take magnesium. If you're going to use it as a supplement, take that one at night and then take the rest in the morning before you close your fast. So some supplements I like to encourage people to try to take in Ramadan. Again, everyone is different. One is vitamin D3. So vitamin D, there's very few foods that contain vitamin D that can give us this vitamin. Our main source is outside, it's the sunlight. It's the sun hitting our skin. We absorb vitamin D, our body absorbs it from the sun. Being a slightly darker in skin tone, we need to be outside for longer for our body to absorb enough of the sun for vitamin D. Now, we're not always outside. Many people work during the day, so they're inside, especially now with a lot of us working from home, we're inside more than we should be for getting enough vitamin D. So I always say, try to supplement with vitamin D, start with 1,000 international units. And when you're looking at vitamin D, always try to get the vitamin D3, because the D3 is the more natural source or form of vitamin D, and it's better absorbed into the body. If you get the D2, you're still getting some vitamin D, but you're not getting as much of it in. Another great vitamin to have is omega-3s. It's a great fatty acid. Our body doesn't make it. It's available in fresh cold water fish like salmon and mackerel, but we don't eat a lot of that, and your body needs the omega-3. So that's another one to supplement. Probiotics. Some people, like I take probiotics every single day. Some people don't need to take a probiotic. It depends on your digestive health. So it's very good for your digestion. It's very good for your gut health. So especially in Ramadan, I would suggest taking a probiotic just to help with the digestion and help us process all the food we're eating. Magnesium is a mineral that we are all lacking in. We can get it from a lot of food sources, but again, sometimes we don't eat enough of that food source to get the recommended amounts. So I like to supplement with magnesium. Again, as I said, it's a great one to take in the evening because it just helps you relax. If you have like muscle pains or joint pains, it's also really good for that as well. When you're looking at magnesium, something I need to mention is there's a few different forms of magnesium. So a lot of the forms that are available are citric, magnesium oxide. Those ones can cause loose bowels. So if you suffer from loose bowels, that's maybe one you don't want to opt for, and try to focus on a magnesium glycinate, which helps. So if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I can help you. I know there's a lot of information to take in, but magnesium glycinate is a good one to take for that. And a whole foods multi. On a regular day, I wouldn't say a lot of, depending on your diet, you may not need a whole foods multivitamin because you're getting enough from the foods that you're eating and the vegetables that you're eating. But in Ramadan, sometimes it's nice to supplement with that because it's just helping you get the optimal amounts. And when you're choosing a multivitamin, I strongly suggest getting ones that are made with whole food ingredients because again, it's whole foods, it's natural, your body's able to absorb that better than the other forms that are not naturally made. So when you're looking at a multivitamin, try to go for a whole foods multivitamin. And exercise. Another really important or common topic in Ramadan is exercise. Sorry, when do we exercise and how do we exercise? So a lot of people sometimes think, you know what, I don't exercise through the year. Ramadan's a great time for me to start exercising because I'm already going to be watching what I'm eating. I already don't eat a lot in Ramadan, so it's a great time for me to get fitter and feel better. But that's not really the case because what happens is if you're not used to exercising and you suddenly start exercising in Ramadan, your body, first of all, your muscles have to adjust to this movement and they can get sore. So for those people who do work out, or anyone who has gone for a long walk, if something that they don't usually do, you'll notice the next day your muscles are a little sore, you feel a little tight. So Ramadan's not the time to start something like new and intensive like this because the next day you can't take an Advil or something to help you get over the muscle aches that you're experiencing. You kind of have to suffer through them. So if you're going to start exercising, start something slow. Don't say I'm going to go and I'm going to do HIIT workouts every day because that's hard to do and it's going to be hard on you. What I find I like to do in Ramadan is put myself into like what I call maintenance mode. So I'm not looking to, get any fitter, have any gains or nothing like that. What I'm looking to do is maintenance. So maintaining what I've got and doing simple, slow things. So in my maintenance mode includes going for long walks. So I'm getting out in nature, which with everything that's going on is really beneficial. It also includes, doing some light yoga, doing some light stretching. So things that I don't often do through the year, but things that are really beneficial to me still. So maintenance mode, do things that are simple, low key, low intensity, but still you are moving because we do need to move. So something that gets you moving, gets you out and about, but is not going to cause you to sweat and won't cause any muscle soreness the next day. And another thing is if you are exercising, you may want to avoid early morning or early day exercises because you tire yourself out. So depending on what you're doing, if you're going to go for a walk for an hour, by the time you come home, you may be tired. So if you're doing this at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, you still have a full day to get through. So you're already starting your day off with less energy. So it's going to make the fast that much harder. So if you can do your exercises later on in the day or just before iftar time, so you exercise and you'll be able to hydrate after. Or if you are able to, I can't do it, but if you're able to, once you open your fast with a light iftar, so again, a soup, salad, something light, wait a half an hour, do a workout then, and then you can go back and finish eating and fuel up after your workout. That's another great time to work out if you'd like. Another thing to remember is to keep your goals realistic. Keep your goals simple. So that goes back to the first point I made. Don't start off saying you're going to work out 5 days a week. You know what? Go for 5 simple walks, easy walks. You're out, you're moving, and you're in maintenance mode. So nothing high intensity. Again, you don't want to do anything that's going to cause you to sweat a lot because you have to replenish that liquid. So if you're working out while you're in the day, while you're fasting, be mindful of that as well. Finally, talk about mindfulness, mindset. So this is the month when it's our time to connect with God. It's our time to connect with Allah. It's that time when we grow our spirituality. This is something, one thing that we want to focus on this month. So spend the time that you can connect to Allah, feel connected to Him through your namaz, your du'as, your meditation. Make those a priority as well. This helps in our overall wellness. Our mindset is so important. It's such an important part of overall wellness. It's not just the foods we eat and the exercises we do. It's the thoughts we have, the feelings we have, how we ground ourselves, how we reflect ourselves. That's really important in our overall wellness as well. So spend the time, connect with Allah. Work on increasing your faith and spirituality. That's not wasting time. That is putting you in a place of where you need to be. Focus on your ibadat. Be mindful of your thoughts and actions. Everything that we think and we do reflects back on us. And, we're fasting, we're hungry, we want to reduce the stress and anxiety we have. So be mindful of what you're doing, be mindful of what you're thinking, and try to do things that can help you reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a great way. Sometimes we feel like, we feel negative, we feel sad with the way things are working out, but we are so fortunate compared to other people. And this is a great way to sit back, appreciate what we have. And the more we appreciate and we recognize the good things in our life, the less negativity we feel, the less stress and less anxious we are. Give to those less fortunate. As Seema and we talked about when we started, IDRF helps so many people in so many ways. Give to those that are less fortunate, help those. Try to remove yourself from stressful situations. Try to remove yourself from things that cause you stress and anxiety, because again, these will cause you discomfort. These will cause you issues. These will drain you of energy. This is just so much negativity in that you don't feel healthy. You don't feel energized. You just feel bogged down. And the most important thing, the one thing that everyone has a hard thing with in Ramadan is sleep. As I said earlier on, sleep is a very precious commodity in Ramadan. We don't get enough of it. So don't sleep through suhoor. Don't catch your sleep that time because you need to wake up and eat. But listen to your body. If you need to take a nap during the day, take a nap during the day. Get your rest in where you can. It'll help you feel more energized. It'll give you the energy to eat, focus on the foods, focus on meal prep. It'll give you the energy to wake up at suhoor time. So it's just a cycle here. Everything kind of works together. So the more you focus on one area, it'll be easier to focus on the other. So sleep, always get you enough sleep in, because I know at the end of Ramadan, I'm always dragging. I am so tired. So I do it. The last week of Ramadan, I sneak a couple of naps in through the day, and it just helps me get through the days. And that is it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I really hope you got, even if you have one takeaway from today, one tip that you implement this Ramadan that makes you feel better, makes you connect more spiritually, more physically, more mentally, and helps you, again, I've done my job. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much to IDRF and YPC for asking me to speak today. It was an honor. And as I said, my takeaway is that you have got something to take away from here today. And I think we're opening up to questions. I'm gonna stop my share. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sukaina. So many gems of information in there. I just love that presentation. I think everyone could benefit from it. I find in Ramadan, it's always the battle at suhoor time between sleep and eating, and oftentimes sleep wins a lot of the time, and you've just until later on in the day where you realize, oh shoot, I should have gotten up to eat something or drink something, and now I have a headache, or now I'm really hungry and have a hunger pang. So all of these tips that you gave are so useful to make suhoor time especially less daunting, and all the great supplements that you recommended, and I think those are things that people can really benefit from. And we are going to actually open it up to questions. I saw there's been a lot of communicating going on the chat. A lot of people have some burning questions to ask you. So I'm going to turn it over to Anjum to facilitate the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sukaina. I mean, you shared some really great, simple ways. And I think the hardest part is thinking about preparing. And what I loved about your presentation was the simplicity of it. And for me, hydration is my biggest challenge. So it's hard for me to kind of, that liter of water is daunting for me. So you introduced me to some simple ways of thinking about hydration beyond drinking water, right? Fruits and vegetables, great way to hydrate. So we really appreciate that. So we've got some really good questions coming in. The first question we got was, is it healthier to use coconut oil in general rather than extra virgin olive oil for curries, etc.? Or is it only for foods being cooked at high temperatures? Because you mentioned that avocado is better on high temperatures and olive oil should be taken raw unless you're cooking with low temperatures.
Yeah. So coconut oil is another great oil to use. You can, depending on your taste. So coconut oil sometimes gives foods a little coconut flavor to it. So I don't always add it into all my foods because there's some foods you don't want that coconut flavor to. But it is very beneficial. So if you have the coconut oil, you're more than welcome to use that. Again, it has a high smoke point, so you don't have to worry about cooking on high or sauteing on high, and you get the benefits from there. It is a saturated fat, so you do want to, like with everything, use it in moderation. If you're frying anything, avocado oil is another great oil to use to fry. But if you're low temperature cooking, my go-to recommendation would always be olive oil. It is really, really one of the most beneficial oils to us.
Great, thank you. Speaking of oils and cooking with different oils, the next question came up was around ghee. Is ghee really healthy? And what are the benefits?
Growing up, I was told, have ghee with your eggs. And I said, no, ghee is bad for you, because that's what we grew up with. Ghee is bad for you. But when you break it down, and now when they talk about ghee again is a saturated fat, but it is good for you because you can cook with a high temp smoke point with that. And also, funny enough, ghee is actually lactose free. So it's made of butter, which contains lactose. But when you boil the butter, all the lactic enzymes come out. That's what comes out of the ghee. And that's what makes it clarified. And that's what gives it more benefits to us. So it is actually a healthy option.
Great. The next question, there's lots of questions. The next question was, is there a particular probiotic that you would recommend?
So probiotics, you want ones that contain the most strains of probiotics. So strains, what they are, they're bacterial strains. So by taking a probiotic, you're introducing good bacteria into your gut. I highly recommend, if you've ever been on antibiotics, that you want to take a probiotic because the antibiotic takes away the good bacteria. So the probiotics help reintroduce it to the gut. So when you're looking for a probiotic, there are some really good brands out there. Try to look for ones that have got multi-strains to them. So they've got the more strains of bacteria they have, the more bacteria you're introducing to your gut, the more benefits you're getting from there. If you've never had a probiotic before, you may want to, you're just having it for maintenance, you may want to start with something low with that 25 billion CFUs, culture forming units. If you have a health issue, if you have a digestive issue, or if you've just taken antibiotics, and I suggest maybe starting with something higher.
Okay. And in terms of the timing, you mentioned when to take certain vitamins and supplements. Is there a preference for absorption or when you should take the probiotics, morning or evening?
I would take the probiotics in the morning. You can take it in the evening as well, but the morning with food kind of just sets the day off, right? And you need the food with it. It's not one of those you can take on its own because the food helps buffer it into your stomach, helps kind of transported into the stomach. Saying that, also, if you take a vitamin D that I suggested, you want to make sure you take a vitamin D with food as well, because vitamin D is a fat-based vitamin. So you need a fat source to kind of get it into your system and absorb into the body.
Okay, that's great to know, because sometimes a lot of us pop our vitamins all at once in the morning, have a coffee, and then, have breakfast later. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you need it for the absorption.
Yeah.
Is there, I guess the next question is around magnesium. What's the RDA of magnesium?
So they say for females anywhere between 300 and 400 milligrams a day. But everyone is different. Everyone's needs are different. So that recommended daily dose is for anyone who's in maintenance or just going to help them. If you suffer from certain health issues, or you're having magnesium for muscle cramps or muscle tension, then you can increase the dose a little bit. Again, depending on the magnesium you use, if you increase it too much, you may have loose bowels. But for me, I take a magnesium supplement every day. It's about 450 milligrams regularly. But if I've just done a workout and my muscles are sore and I'm tired, and I know I'll be sore the next day, I bump it up and I take a double dose, because it just helps relax the muscles and reduce soreness.
Okay. And you had mentioned the type of magnesium to take if it upsets your stomach, and someone's just asking clarity. Can you spell the name of that type of magnesium?
Okay. So it's magnesium glycinate. I can't spell off the top of my head, but glycinate. So it starts with a G, magnesium glycinate. If you have any questions, you can contact me and I'll share that again with you.
Okay, great. The next question is around what to eat when you're opening your fast, and can you have fruits at night?
So you can have fruits at night. Some people find fruits can cause you a certain upset stomach, or can cause acid reflux, but generally people are okay with fruits at night. If you're going to have fruits like for dessert before bed, I suggest having it with like a protein source, or like a source of fat. Like, great thing is apples and peanut butter, or apples and a nut butter, right? It's just a great way to have your fruits. You can have your fruits plain as well. Berries are amazing to have for fruits. Yes, CanPrev is a very good brand. So I just saw it pop up in the chat.
That's my husband chiming in with his. I guess back to the magnesium. I think I missed someone's question, or the added part to someone's question on magnesium. What's the best source for it? What other food sources can you get magnesium from?
So food sources, right off the top of my head, a lot of nuts and seeds have magnesium in them. I find pumpkin seeds, so the raw pumpkin seeds have the highest amount of magnesium. So I add pumpkin seeds to everything. So if I'm making my date balls in Ramadan, I add pumpkin seeds to that. When I'm having any oats or anything like that, I just sprinkle pumpkin seeds on top as a seed alternative into my salads, or just eat them on their own. So magnesium is a great source of, pumpkin seeds are a great source of magnesium.
Okay, great. And so coffee comes up a lot of times because it's the hardest, that and hydration I find is the hardest thing it's the withdrawal, right? Yep. So somebody's asking, and then I have a coffee question too, but I'll post this one first for you. If I must have coffee sometime after I open my fast, is it better to have it soon after I open my fast, or wait a bit?
So if you're going to have coffee after you open your fast, my first recommendation is opt for a decaf version. So again, you need to sleep. I know a lot of people think that caffeine doesn't affect them, but it affects us in many ways. One, some people can't fall asleep. One, some people wake up and have a hard time falling asleep again, right? So if you're going to have coffee, opt for a decaf version. And if you're going to have coffee, I would wait to have some food in your system, because coffee is actually acidic. And that's why some people like to put the cream and sugar in, because it kind of buffers it a little bit. But after a whole day of not eating, I would suggest eating your foods and then maybe having the coffee after that. Okay.
And then personally, I've been trying to wean coffee off and have been unsuccessful. I shared that with you in the beginning a little bit. I tried to do at least 2 to 3 weeks before, and we're a week in and I had 2 coffees this morning. What's a supplement to coffee? Because oftentimes just that warm drink in the morning, it's habitual. Is there something that you have that you can suggest in terms of a supplement, or how to wean coffee off beforehand?
So I think right off the bat, cutting coffee out earlier on before Ramadan starts is a great idea, because you don't want the withdrawal symptoms, like you said, the feeling sluggish, the no energy, the headaches, all of that comes when you start cutting out caffeine. So if you cut it out a week or 2 before, that's a great first step. And now what I've done is it's by a company called Dandy Blend. So Dandy Blend, and they make an instant herbal beverage. It's a powder. Think of instant coffee. It's very similar to instant coffee. And it actually tastes like coffee because it has something in there called dandelion roots, which is, if anyone's had any dandelion root teas or anything like that, it's a little bit bitter. And it kind of gives you the color and the flavor of coffee. And that's what I have. So I make a glass I add a tablespoon into hot water, and I like my morning coffee with collagen and all of that stuff. And I just use that as the base. And it's been so satisfying because it gives you the warm drink. It makes you feel like you're having coffee because it tastes like coffee. And it's got added benefits of the dandelion root and the herbs that are in there as well.
Great. And it's a not, it's caffeine free, I'm assuming.
It's caffeine free. It's absolutely caffeine free. Yeah.
Right. And have you tried, so it's either with water or you can add your milk if you wanted to it?
I've never had it with milk, but I'm sure it could. I usually just add, as I said, I add my water and my collagen. I just thing it up.
Okay. Go through.
It's called Dandy Blend. Sorry, that's
Dandy Blend.
Dandy Blend.
Okay. So getting another question, I get terrible gas pains when missing meals. What can I do to help with the gas? And I think you spoke a little bit about your digestion in your digestion section.
Yeah,
so you can kind of elaborate on that.
So you can try, if you're feeling gassy, you can take digestive enzymes. You can get vegetable-based digestive enzymes, which are kind of quite nice to help if your gas is very prominent. You can also try, as I mentioned, the digestive teas. Fennel is great for that. The seed blends that we sometimes eat, that should really help. There's also like a massage you can do. You can kind of rub around your belly button clockwise, very gently, and it's supposed to help ease gas and pain that way as well. I know there's like, if you go to Sage Naturals, they have a roll-on, an essential oil roll-on called Eater's Digest or something like that. And again, if you roll that all around your stomach in a clockwise formation, that helps reduce sometimes gas as well. It depends on the extremity, like how much you have, the extremity of it. But those are just some simple things that you could try to implement.
Okay. And in terms of like, fennel seeds, eating versus drinking. So I have the tea, but I also love eating it. Is there one way that's you better absorb the benefits of fennel? Is it better to eat them or drink the tea?
I personally do both. I find the tea is a bit more diluted. So you're getting the benefits of it, but it's a bit more diluted. I personally think that sometimes eating the seeds works faster because first of all, you're breaking the seeds. So you're releasing everything into your mouth right away and it's going right in. So it's absorbed faster, I feel, and it's easier to take. But some people just don't like the taste of the seeds. They don't like how it feels in their mouth. And that's when the teas work out as well. I do both. I sometimes put the seeds in my teas as I'm brewing it. So I've got the fennel tea bag and the fennel seeds in there as well.
Right, and then you can eat them afterwards.
Eat them as you're drinking, absolutely.
Yeah. Great, thank you. And then you did touch on this a little bit earlier in your presentation, and I know some people were having some challenges dialing in. Besides salads, can you just kind of give a run through, because salads can, you shared some creative ways to get vegetables in and salads and mix that up so you're not bored, but besides salads, what are some nutrient-rich foods that you would recommend for suhoor and for opening fast? Just kind of summary of them.
So soups are great. Soups are a great way to get your nutrients in, you get your vegetables in, and it mixes up the salads, right? I like platters. Those are kind of fun to snack on, especially when you open your fast, because it slows your eating down. So you have the salad and you're just like shoveling in, but you have like a big platter of vegetables and people are you're making the movement, so it slows down your eating. It's fun, you can mix it up, and it's a very social thing with the family. You can saute your vegetables, you can saute your, add them into stir fries and stuff like that. So you can cook them in various different ways. As I mentioned earlier on, I like to keep frozen vegetables in the freezer. If I'm making a rice dish or a curry dish or anything like that, which we wouldn't usually, traditionally we don't add vegetables to say something like a meat curry, but I like to add in a handful of frozen spinach or some vegetables like that. So that's just boosting up the nutrients of your everyday meals without really changing anything up.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you have a Facebook page? So we've shared your IG handle and been posting, and someone's asking if you are on Facebook.
I do. I have a personal Facebook page I don't use very often, but I do have a health and food. It's called Health and Food Junkie. So it's Health and Food Junkie. It's on Facebook, and I kind of share what I share on Instagram right onto Facebook as well.
Okay, so the same handle for both.
Yeah, same handle for both. Yeah.
All right, which we've been posting. So I've shared it in the chat group as well earlier. Any more? We don't have. I think I'm just going to quickly check to make sure I didn't miss anybody's question. People are also sharing their tips. Thank you, everyone. I think that's it. Anybody last minute call for question?
If you have any questions ever, you can DM me on Instagram, you can DM me on Facebook. I'm always happy to help wherever I can. If I didn't answer your question, sometimes it's hard to think on the spur of the moment. So thank you for everyone who's been adding in sources of magnesium and stuff like that. That's been very helpful for me too, because it doesn't come off the top of the head sometimes. But any questions you have, please contact me. I'm always happy to help.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, thank you so much. This is really informative. I really, truly just love the simplicity of it, because I think that's the hardest part, overthinking how tough it's going to be to prepare, to hydrate, what you're going to eat. And you shared some very simple tips that I think everyone can do, and we've all sort of taken something away. And seeing the comments too, everyone really enjoyed your presentation. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. And as I said, that was my goal, was just that you leave here with one tip that helps you this Ramadan.
Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Seema. I don't know if you want to say some closing remarks, Seema.
Thank you, Anjum, for facilitating the Q&A. And thank you so much, Sukaina, for this wealth of information you've provided us. This is just amazing. I think it will really benefit the whole community. I know certainly I've benefited from this. And I just wanted to thank you again for that. And again, if you would like to purchase Sukaina's cookbook, it's called The Electric Pressure Cooker Cookbook, and it's available at Amazon and Indigo. So if you search that up, there's also some great recipes in there that she gives for people who have Instapots and want to play around with that. And thank you so much to all of you who have joined today. We hope you found this useful, and we are also going to have the playback of this, the whole recording. We will email that to all the members who have joined today in your email. So look out for that, so you can refer back to that great presentation. And then also just wanted to let you know about our next virtual wellness event, which will be on May 8th. Also very excited about this one. Her name is also Sukaina, but this one is a Sukaina Walaji Kareem. She is a wonderful artist who is also intertwining mindfulness and art together in a beautiful Eid card workshop for everyone, adults and kids alike. So keep an eye out for those posts, and that's one not to be missed as well. Save the date for that. And on behalf of everyone at IDRF, we just want to thank you so much, and wish you all a very happy and blessed and healthy Ramadan. Thank you so much, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.